myself in it. And I'm like, Thomas must have been like, let us go die with the Lord. This is, I don't know if I'm following this guy. This is going to be horrible. But when I studied it more, he's saying it as a proclamation of his courage. One thing about doubting Thomas, he's like a faithful pessimist. He's pessimistic. He's not very optimistic. He's looking at the intellectual aspect of it. He's kind of like, well, if we go back, he's going to be persecuted. He's going to get hurt. We're following him. So we're probably all going to die. This is the conclusion he comes up with, but it shows his courage because he says, let's all go and die with him. Look at the heart of this man. I think if you look at the story of Thomas, he loves Jesus as much as everyone else. We can compare him to John. We know John, he used to use the title for himself as the one whom Jesus loved. He just had a heart for Jesus. He just loved Jesus. And he's just saying, you know what? I overlooked everything that I could think of about the situation, but I came to the conclusion that I'd rather go and die with Jesus than be without him. And we know that throughout scriptures it says we were take up our cross every day and die to ourselves. But yet Thomas already has this in his mind. He's just like, you know what? Let's all go. He shows a little bit of leadership here. We know that Peter was probably the chosen leader, and there's other ones that were more vocal. But right here, everyone's over here like, I don't know, man. Maybe we shouldn't go. And then the pessimist of the group, the one that wasn't, and always looked at the darker side of everything, was kind of like, you know what, guys, let's go with him. Let's all go and die with him. And it says in history that he actually got the chance to do it. We say it like that, like, oh, he wanted this chance, but it says he went to India to go preach the gospel in India. He traveled the world and he was spreading the gospel. And one of the priests over there accused him of something, accused him of blaspheming their gods, their pagan gods. And he got martyred. So he got that opportunity to go die for Jesus. He didn't do it at the time he thought he was going to do it. He thought he was going to die right there, when he was going to go see Lazarus get resurrected. But later on in life, he did die for Jesus. And what a encouraging thing is that this man who probably is going to look at the bad of the day, the worst of the day. He's one of those people like, you see the glass half full or half empty. He was always a half emptier. He always saw the glass half empty. And yet, even though he saw it half empty, he was like, even if it's half empty, I'm happy with it as long as it's half empty with Jesus. And he got that opportunity to that from him. And legend says that he was actually pierced in the side by a spear, which is just a crazy way to kind of think of the ending. You saw the beginning, now you see the end. He started being introduced to let's go and die with the Lord, and now we hear at the end of his life he did die for the Lord. And it was a man who his intellect kept him from just being like the Christian that everybody wants to be. But I want to tell you some encouraging things right now is we don't have to be an optimistic Christian. We don't have to be like, oh, life is just great and always it's going to be great. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes life is going to be hard and difficult. And it's going to cause us to doubt. And it's going to cause us to question, to worry, to stress, and to unbelieve. To not believe what Jesus has said. But if we could get anything encouraged by him, we're going to see Thomas he was this kind of man, but yet he just loved the Lord. He loved the Lord so much. We're going to read a good chunk out of John 14, because this is an encouraging word that Jesus has for his disciples. He starts telling his disciples, and John, he starts telling them, like, hey guys, I'm not going to be here for long. I'm going away. But it's okay. It's good for me to go away, because I'm going to send a helper. I'm going to send my spirit with you. You're going to be, it's going to be better because I'm going to be in you. Like we live in Jesus, and Jesus lives in us, and that's an amazing thing. Right there, they're looking at it as the physical realm, and they're like, oh, but we want to be with you. We want to be in your presence. God says, well, once I go, I'm going to be in your presence, but it raised doubt amongst the disciples. Then all they can think of is, well, where are you going? Where are you going? Jesus knows that this is what they're thinking in their hearts, so he opens up with this wonderful, encouraging note. So if you guys want to follow, it's a little bit of a couple verses, but we're going to read it. Let not your heart be troubled.
All right, let me give you a little context. I love that little beginning. Because he just walked through the wall. Like, the doors are locked. He walks in. Like, that's just a great, that's that kind of like peace, you know, because they're freaked out. Like, Jesus walked through the
Well, they just saw him die. They're like, oh my gosh. So they're freaking out. So Jesus right away, he just says, let not your heart be troubled. Because, he's like, he sees that they're troubled a little bit by what they just saw. He said, you believe, or actually that was a little bit further, sorry. But let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. You know where I am going, and you know the way. This is where Thomas gets a bad rap again. Because I was skipping a little ahead, I was a little verses ahead. So he hasn't walked through the wall yet. I'm totally just messing with you guys. See if you got paying attention. But Thomas, so they're all sitting right here. They're all upstairs and they're just talking. And Thomas looks at him. He says, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him. So, it's one of these questions that Thomas gets picked on for. But who want to say that about someone that they love so much? So Jesus is telling them, hey, I'm not going to be here for long. You guys just, you're going to be on your own. You guys are big boys now. You guys got this. And they were like, no, this is horrible. If you're not here, how are we going to do what you want us to do? And Thomas, he kind of takes a little bit of the role of like a leader. Because they're all leaders in their own right. And he says, we don't know the way we're going, Lord. We don't know where you're going. And he's already telling him where he's going. He's going to be with the Father. He's going to go and build many rooms for him. He says, I'm going to go get it ready for you guys. But when you hear that, it was heartbreaking to Thomas because he's like, well, I want to go with you now. And I think we all feel that way, and we want to go with Jesus now. Paul was quoted and saying, well, it would be better for me to die right now because I'll be with you. But if I must stay here, then it's for the kingdom of God. He wanted to glorify God, but he was like, man, it would be so much better if I was just with you. If I was just able to be with you and not have to struggle and go through all these heartaches. Go through this thing called life. The thing about life is it's always going to, I say drag, but I can't say drag because it goes really fast. It's quick. You blink and all of a sudden I look around and my nieces and nephews are bigger than me. But I guess like all kids are bigger than me after walking a tiny guy. But, it just blows my mind just how quick time really flies, and yet it'd be so exciting just to be able to be with Jesus and not have to deal with any of that. Because it seems like when time comes to a abrupt slowdown, when it just stops, is when we're going through the worst parts in our lives. And right here, when he's talking to Thomas and his other disciples, it hits Thomas in the gut, and he's saying, No, I don't want to be without you, Lord. I can't see my life without you. So he says it in such a way where he says, well, where are you going? Where are you going? And I think I've asked that in the times in my life where like I've had loss in my life and I was struggling. It wasn't where you're going. I was like, where are you at? Where are you at, God? Because this shouldn't have happened. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't my plan. The thing is, though, it's never our plan. It's God's plan. And that's one of the coolest things about Jesus that taught us is that, I'm a step forward. I'm going to do my Father's will. I'm about the Father's business. I'm about my Father's business. He had the right to do any business he wanted because he was God, but yet he said, I'm going to take the Father's lead. I'm going to let the Father tell me where to go. Well, I'm sure he wanted to take his disciples. I think that would have been awesome. But where would we be if we didn't have statements like this? Because I think I've said it a million times, like, the only way to God is through Jesus. And if we didn't know how to get to God, then we'd be lost. So Thomas, I say this, doubting Thomas, if he didn't ask this question, I dare to say that it would have been difficult for us to know the way to heaven. And yet when he does it, we call him out for it and say, oh, what a doubter. Well, man, I can't believe you doubted God. Like, well, what's up with that? And I think we do that too many times with each other. And when we look at each other, and sometimes we're thinking, oh, well, I can't believe that he's wearing that to church. Or I can't believe that he's worshiping like that. Or I can't believe that they're not helping out more. I can't. And it's one of those things that's like, what business is it of ours how they're going to be for God? He's going to work with them the way he wants to work with them. And more often than not, we judge each other. And throughout history, we judge Thomas for being a doubter. But if he didn't ask this question, man, I wouldn't know that wonderful passage that I am the way, the truth, and the life. I wouldn't know that because then who would have asked him? So I argue that, what are we doubting today? What are we doubting within each other? Sometimes we look at each other and instead of looking at like our own problems, like ourselves in the mirror, what does it say? Remove the plank in your eye before you worry about the speck in your neighbor's. Sometimes we're sitting there just looking across the aisle and you're like, man, that speck, let me get that for you. But it's funny because I always like to think of a plank. A plank is big old board. Like, can you imagine me trying to come up to your eyeball with a plank hitting you in the face? It ain't gonna work. It's dangerous when we start to just think about what others are doing in their lives instead of what we're doing in our own life. And then when we get to John 20, this is the one we probably all know. We know in John 20 that this is the epitome of doubt, but it's just he wanted a personal experience that everyone else got. He felt left out. I pray with people where we do have. Instead of thinking. And right character of Thomas. Thomas, after Jesus is crucified, after he dies, he's heartbroken. He can't believe. He just asked this pivotal question, and Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody goes to heaven except through me. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. I told you, Thomas is one of those, he's a doubter. He's pessimistic. He's like, well, he's gone. Now I have no chance of going. Well, since Jesus left, I guess I don't make it. He's heartbroken. It says all disciples did the same thing. All disciples split apart. But the thing about the other 10 is that they all came together and they were having fellowship and they were mourning together. We can't get mad at Thomas that he just mourned a little different. He went on his own. He wanted to be by himself. He wanted to go and just reflect on what happened. He was depressed. He was depressed. He went from being devoted to now he's just distressed. He's still devoted, but now he's depressed. He figured what went wrong. He's like, I heard the plan. I asked the questions. I don't get it. And I go to what we were talking about earlier today in the Bible study is OGK. Only God knows. And yet we get disappointed that we don't get to know at that moment. And when we get to 24, Jesus already came in and he went and just encouraged everybody because he's like, I'm here, guys. It's fine. It's been 3 days. He's like, I defeated death. This is awesome. Everyone is just excited. So they're all excited, but it says, but Thomas, one of the 12 called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see the nail prints in his hands, and put my finger in the nail prints, and put my hand inside, I will not believe. And it was interesting because before this, Jesus came up and he shows them willingly. He comes in and he says, "Look, it's me, guys. Don't freak out. It's me. Look at, I'm not a ghost or anything. Look at the scars. Look, check it out. Look at it. I got these for you." And he hears. So I imagine the disciples come and tell Thomas all about this, and he's like, "I want that. I want that for myself. And unless I don't get that, or if I don't get that, I'm not going to believe. I'm not even going to pretend like I believe it because I haven't seen it. You guys are telling me all these wonderful things, and when I look at it, is he's feeling like, why was I left out? Why was I left out? Why did you leave me out?" And we know it was of his own making because he wasn't there. He might not have been there, like I said, because he was dealing with mourning his only way he knew how. Maybe he was just so distraught that he was just like, I got to be by myself. But what ended up happening is he missed the congregation. He missed the fellowship. And what we could learn from that little moment is sometimes when things are going wrong in our lives, we decide, well, I'm not going to go to church Sunday. I'm not going to go hang out with those people because they're happy, I'm not happy. And it's just, I'm going to either bring them down or, I don't feel much like worshiping, so I'm just going to stay away from there. And since he decided to skip that service, that time of fellowship, he missed out on God's miracle. He missed out on something. And instead of him saying, "Oh man, I missed it. I can't believe I did that," he just totally gets mad that he wasn't included. He gets mad. He says, "I'm not going to believe it unless I get it. I want more even." Because it says, Jesus showed it to him. He doesn't say that he had him touch all his wounds. It was more that he showed it to him. He says, "Well, I want to touch him. You guys seen him? I want to touch him. I want to put my finger through where the nails went. I want to put my hand where the spear went." And I love this next part. So in verse 26 of chapter 20, after 8 days, his disciples were again inside the door shut, and Thomas was with them. Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and look at my hands. Put your hand here and place it in my side. Do not be faithless, but believe." And I looked at that and I was just like, can't believe Jesus would do that. It just seems like, in my mind, I'm like, if somebody wants me to prove who I am, then why do I got to prove who I am? He knows who I am. But Jesus, this loving and caring and compassionate God, says, "Thomas, it's cool, man. It's cool. Just check it out. Look, it's me. It's me." It's going back to that first part. Don't let your heart trouble. Don't be so sad. Don't be so hurt. I know you think that you missed it, but you didn't miss nothing because I am with you. I am with you. So he's like, and look, if you need to touch it, you need to put your hand here. Do what you got to do. He gives them that personal experience because that's one thing that God's going to do with everybody's heart. And everyone who's ever put their trust and their faith in Jesus Christ knows it was a personal experience. There's one thing, nobody could come to Jesus unless he hasn't called them. Because all those that are his is those whom the Father has given him. So it says the Father gives you to his Son. It's already manifested in our hearts to want to be with him. And Jesus does that. He says, I love you, Thomas. So sometimes, man, think of the cup. The cup's full, bro. It's not empty. It may be water and it looks empty, but there's substance in there. Just gotta see it. And believe it. And I love this. And Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." We went from this place of doubt and distress and just depression. Everything was just eating him out, and all it took was. And I was trying to find pictures, and all it kept showing, just him sticking his hand all the way in Jesus' side, and all this, and we don't really know if that's exactly how it went down. It sounds more like to me like Jesus said, "Here, look, put your hand here, look at here," and he just he fell to his face. He couldn't believe that he would even doubt that Jesus couldn't conquer the grave. And then that's what we need to do sometimes, is we just need to just get rid of that doubt. Like, just expel it. Just the doubt is just a weapon of the enemy. That's just trying to. We're talking about the yeast of the Pharisees. You're just trying to put a little bit of yeast there, a little bit of doubt, because that little doubt's going to manifest in our hearts. It's going to grow to unbelief, and when we become an unbeliever, then we're no longer believing in Christ, and then we really do lose that way. Then we really can't make it. And then Jesus said to him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and have yet believed. And that's just a statement for all of us. We get to, like I always tell you guys, we get to see Jesus manifested in each other's faces every time we come here. Every Wednesday when you're at Bible study, when you come here on Monday and you're at Bible study, when you're worship practice, when you see each other worshiping God, you get to see the manifestation of God in them, because God's in them. But we don't get to see what Thomas saw. But he's saying, blessed more we are that we live by faith and not by sight. We are more blessed because we don't need to see what is. It doesn't need to be in front of us, because it's consumed us. It's all around us. Every time we wake up to the time we go to bed, God is constantly revealing himself to us in every miracle act of just a regular day. Sun rising, sun setting, waking up, the blessing of clean water, food in our bellies, roof over our head. Those little things should trump doubt. Amen. So it says, when it's hard to believe, I say close your eyes and count your blessings. Some people count sheep. As Christians, we count blessings, because it'll bring peace. That's the whole notion, is when you count sheep, you should be able to have peace and fall asleep. No, we should count blessings. Problem is, though, if you're trying to do it while you're asleep, you might get so excited that you might forget to sleep, because you're sitting there for an hour. You're like, well, I have too many blessings, Lord, I gotta relax, I gotta go to bed. Because it should get you excited that the Lord has blessed us so much and in so many ways. So what we could do is we could stop just doubting. We could stop becoming faithless, because that's what doubting causes. We could just become believing. We could just start believing that God's gonna just bring us through. He's gonna carry us through. And the biggest thing that I always like to hang my hat on is God loves me. Amen. We could be just like John and say, I'm the disciple who God loves. Because that should be a self-title for all of us, because you are the disciple that God loves. Because we are all disciples. We're all learners of the Word. I love you guys. I can ask the prayer team to come up with. I had the bulletin, and my wife's looking at it. Hold on. Yeah, Maddie.